Hello, my name is Michael Cox, and welcome to Across the Arts.
Hello, my name is Amy Taylor.
25 years ago, the Phantom of the Opera opened the West End, and from that success, it became a worldwide phenomenon. But now Cameron Mackintosh and Angela Weber return with a brand new production 25 years later, touring Britain, a brand new director, a brand new production team, and for the most part, a brand new cast. But the question is, does this Phantom of the Opera work as well as the other, and does it prove that it is a worthy entry into the history books of great art? Now, I've seen the original production a few times, and I was mesmerized by the original director, Hal Prince's work, but I always thought that the source material was a bit on the flimsy side. And I'm afraid after watching this brand new production, that thought of mine has been crystallized. I do believe that Angela Weber's musical is a rather weak production, even though the production itself is quite interesting to look at. I found that the 2.5-hour running time went quite quickly. I found it entertaining, but did I find it deep? Not at all. I found it rather shallow, even though spectacle-wise, this production is quite good. Now, Amy, you've not seen the production before, so were you hypnotized by the Phantom's allure, or were you left a bit cold?
I was left a bit cold, I have to admit. This idea of the Phantom, I always had this idea it was a very almost frightening play. And it wasn't really. I mean, visually, as you said, stunning use of mirrors and fire and sparks and electricity. It looks good, but there's nothing substantially there underneath it all. In the most part, I just didn't feel any connection to the characters. I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like the Phantom very much. I thought he came across as more of an emotionally abusive person, obviously, emotionally and mentally damaged by his look. The main actress, Christine, I just didn't find her alluring, I didn't find her interesting, I found her very dull and one-dimensional. She was very much the damsel in distress. As for Will, didn't like him either. I just couldn't connect to them on an emotional level in the way that I didn't really care what was happening to them.
Which is funny because I thought the same thing as far as the characters went. Yeah. But I thought the performers themselves had lovely voices. And I thought they sang the songs brilliantly.
Beautiful, like for stage presence, brilliant, beautiful voices, lovely understanding of the music and everything. But it was just, they were very bound in a box by the way their characters had to be, and I didn't feel they could do a lot with it. As I didn't feel the lead actor. I felt like he was almost taking his cues from Michael Ball, and in another way, Steve Harley, who's done the Phantom as well, because he sounded very like them. He thought, do something different with the character. He was very flamboyant and talked very importantly and had his ideas on things. But in the end of the day, if you strip down to all his layers, he is an emotionally disturbed man who feels entitled to take advantage of a young actress who has no mind of her own, as it seems, and who has magical powers somehow, and the magical powers consist of setting things on fire and hanging people. The big issue I had with it was the fact that theatres are frightening. They are spooky places to be in after dark. There's nothing happening in the theatre. It's quite an eerie place to be in, and you don't need big special effects to show that. And I almost felt like the set, while it looked really good, was almost one of the ways the play fell down, because it was quite clunky and it took a while to change. And once you'd seen that the stairs coming out of the wall, the second time you saw it, you just went, oh, stairs are coming out of the wall. It was almost like there was a fracture between the designer and the director had a very visual idea of how he wanted to look, and the designer had an idea, and the characters it just didn't gel. It couldn't fill the stage. As for the chandelier, yes, I had heard the chandelier has been very, very different in other productions. Why they made this different, I don't know.
Part of me wants to be negative on this because I do agree. I think the characters are flimsy. I think the role of Christine is almost criminal. And the Phantom, we're supposed to be extremely sympathetic with him, but he's a psychopathic murdering jerk.
I don't like him at all.
And as far as the other member of the triangle, Raoul, he's all right.
He's a spectator.
There's nothing wrong with him. I mean, he seems like he's got a good heart, but there's not enough in there to make you want to at least kind of root for him. And when you've got a love triangle, you should at least root for either two of those sides, or you should be able to see why the one corner, in this case, Christine, female, is split between the two. And I just,
you kind of thought, well, has the Phantom got her under some kind of spell? He's obviously got her under control, which is the part I didn't like at all, because he was masquerading as this angel of music that her dad said he would send to her from heaven. But then he was referring to her as the angel of music, so it's like, it became almost a non-thing. It's like, well, what is this angel of music? Have I missed something really, really integral to this piece? And no, I hadn't. They were just kind of bouncing around this word until it had no power, no meaning, know nothing, and Christine was so flimsy that she fell over all the time. Oh, these faints and these, so emotional, and I just didn't care. There was nothing there that was concrete that you could really take away from it. Go, my God, this is one of the best musicals of the last century. Not at all.
And then again, you know, I've seen on Twitter and Facebook, and not just the critics, not all have been very positive on this, but I would say a majority have been, actually. A lot of the next generation seem to be taking a lot of inspiration from this, and a lot of people who want to see other musicals, which is why I don't want to be completely negative on this.
Yeah, I mean,
even though I agree with you on everything you say. I think the characters are one-dimensional at best. I think the music, for the most part, is not that great. The lyrics, I think, half of them are embarrassing. And yet, the visuals are just drawing people into the power of theater. And for that, as much as I hate the source material, I have to tip my hat at creating a spectacle that is making people interested in theater.
And the last visual at the very end, I'm still going, how did they do that? How did they do that?
I can tell you after we...
Yes, I mean, in that sense, yes, it's making people go, I didn't know theatre.
So bottom line, I think we're saying bad musical, great production skills though.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.